Good evening, everyone. My name is Bhante Suddhaso, and I'm a Buddhist monk, and I'm co-founder of Buddhist Insights and Empty Cloud Monastery. And tonight we'll be offering the first in a series of live online teachings during the quarantine period. And tonight we'll be starting with a session of guided loving kindness meditation. So go ahead and sit in an upright, stable position, making sure that your hips are tilted slightly forward, your shoulders are swiveled back and relaxed down, so that your chest feels completely open and free. Sitting with your chin either parallel to the ground or tilted slightly forwards. Your eyes can be either half open, pointed down at the ground about 1 or 2 meters in front of you. Or if you wish, you can allow your eyes to close. Start by taking a few long, slow, deep breaths. With each breath, allowing the body to relax, making an extra effort to relax your forehead, your eyes, your mouth, your jaw. So letting the face be relaxed. You can let your breath return to its natural rhythm. Bring a slight smile to your face. Remember to keep a slight smile throughout the entire period of meditation. Bring to mind someone who you care about very strongly. Someone who you love very much in an uncomplicated way, in a simple, direct way. This might be your cat or your dog. It might be your best friend. It might be your daughter, your sister, your mother. Someone who you love without reservation, without complication. So bring that person to mind. And start silently wishing well for them. Just repeating in your mind, may they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be safe, may they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be safe. And as you repeat these phrases, try to really mean it. Really bringing up that feeling of benevolence, that feeling of goodwill, that feeling of unconditional, loving kindness towards that person. Keep smiling with gentle eyes and wishing, may they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be safe. Focus your whole mind on this task, nothing else. Just wishing for your best friend to be happy, healthy, and safe. That's the most important thing right now. If you catch yourself thinking about other things, just immediately drop those other things. They can wait until later. For now, we're just focused on wishing well for our friend. Wishing, may they be happy, may they be healthy, may they be safe. Notice the warm, gentle, loving feeling that fills the heart as you focus on your friend and wish well for them. Notice that gentle, bright, soothing feeling of loving kindness and turn it up. Make it stronger and brighter, filling your heart with loving kindness, unconditional, unreserved love. Keep focusing on that bright, warm, gentle feeling of loving kindness and allow it to include all the people that you care about. So all of your dear friends, all of your beloved relatives, wishing equally for all of them, just as strongly as for the first person. Wishing equally for all your loved ones. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Without limitation, without condition. Just unlimited, unconditional well-wishing for all your dear friends, all your loved ones. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Remember to keep your eyes soft and relaxed. And remember to keep a slight, gentle smile at all times. Just keep that thought going. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Keep opening your heart, filling it with loving kindness for all your loved ones. Keep magnifying that warm, gentle, loving feeling, that feeling of loving kindness. And allow it to include everyone in your life, from your best friend and all your loved ones, including acquaintances, distant relatives, co-workers. So including also the people that perhaps you don't feel so strongly for. We can wish for them to be happy as well, just as strongly as for our loved ones. So wishing equally for everyone in our life. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Just letting the feeling flow limitlessly, indiscriminately, not holding back this boundless wish for everyone that we know to be happy, healthy, and safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Keep focusing on that feeling of loving kindness, making it always brighter, stronger. Wishing well for everyone in your life without reservation. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. And let that open, loving heart be even more inclusive, including every person you've ever met, even the people you've only seen once, all the people that you've passed on the streets, in the subway, the airports, every single person you've ever encountered without picking and choosing among them, without discriminating among them. It's wishing equally for all of them, just as strongly as for the first person. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Flooding your whole body and mind with this joyful, loving, caring feeling of goodwill for everyone you've ever met. Just keep coming back to this wish. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be safe. Keep those gentle eyes, that soft smile, that loving heart, and let your loving kindness include everyone in the whole world, with no exceptions, no restrictions, no limitations, wishing for every single human being, every single animal, every single insect, every single spirit, everyone in this world and other worlds, in this universe and all other universes, wishing equally for absolutely every single sentient being, including yourself. May everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. May everyone be safe. Unconditional, unlimited, loving kindness for absolutely everyone, everywhere, at all times. Just let the feeling of loving kindness be completely limitless. Wishing, may everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. May everyone be safe. So keep practicing in this way with a bright, warm, and pure heart of loving kindness. If you're getting distracted, come back. Soft eyes, gentle smile. May everyone be happy. Just keep coming back to this moment after moment, always fueling a gentle, loving feeling in your heart. So, keeping that feeling of loving kindness, you can relax your posture. If you have any tension or soreness anywhere, you can give it a little stretch or a little massage. Just take a moment to look at your mind. Check to see, how does the mind feel now? Does it feel any different than it did half an hour ago? Does it feel any more joyful, any more peaceful, any more gentle? Even if just a little bit, bring attention to the change. This is one of the ways that we build our confidence in meditation practice, is to actively bring attention to the results that we get. Often we forget as our day goes by, we get caught up in other things, we get back on our old cycles of making ourselves unhappy. Then we forget about the peace that we had when we were meditating. We forget about the joy that comes from training the mind in this way. So it's good to make an effort to remind ourselves at the end of each period of meditation. Look at the mind. Notice. Notice the change. See if it's better. So at this point, the topic which I've been asked to speak about is impermanence. which in the Buddhist scriptural language of Pali, uh, the word is anicca. So the word nicca means fixed or certain, stable, permanent, reliable. So the word anicca means the opposite to all those things. It means uncertain, unpredictable, unstable, unsteady, impermanent, unreliable. And the Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca, which means all things are impermanent. Everything is unsteady, unstable, insubstantial, constantly changing. And this is something which is not meant to be taken on faith, but rather something that's meant to be investigated and explored in our own experience. As with all of the Buddha's teachings, this teaching that everything is impermanent is something that we're meant to see for ourselves, something that we're meant to confirm by looking at our own body and mind, by looking at our sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought, by looking at all the avenues of experience that we have and constantly looking. What is our experience? What's our experience like? Is our experience one of permanent, unchanging, eternal things? Or is our experience one of constant change? And generally speaking, the closer we look at our experience, the more we see impermanence, the more we see change, the more we see instability. And the more we look at our lives, the more we reflect on the events and changes in our lives, the more we see the truth of uncertainty. The more we see the truth that reality is not as predictable as we might like it to be. So this is another aspect of impermanence. It's unpredictability. It's hard for us to say for sure what's going to happen. So impermanence then is something which applies on all scales. So from the most minute and subtle to the most large and obvious, we can always see this basic principle, this law of nature, that everything is constantly changing. Everything is uncertain, unstable. We can see this playing out on every scale of our life. Every detail of our lives, we can see the same basic truth. And in the beginning, when we're not used to this, that can be a little bit disturbing. Can feel like the ground has suddenly disappeared from beneath us. But that's not a problem. It's not a problem that everything is impermanent. It's not a problem that everything is unstable. It's not a problem that everything is constantly changing. It's just the way things are. In fact, it's what allows everything to happen. It's what allows reality to be fluid. It's what allows us to have a constant flow of new experiences. It's what allows us to grow and develop and change in positive ways. It's what allows us to learn. It's what allows us to train ourselves, to improve ourselves, to perfect ourselves. So impermanence itself is not a problem. But often we experience a lot of distress when we come face to face with change. And why is that? Well, simply put, it's because we resist it. We resist change. We don't want it. We want stability. We want reliability. We want eternity. We want things to be predictable and steady. We want things to be under control. But that's simply not the way things are. So wanting that which is opposed to reality naturally causes us a lot of discomfort, causes us a lot of unease, causes us a perpetual feeling of being out of control. So, through acknowledging that impermanence is a fundamental aspect of reality, through acknowledging that everything is constantly changing, through acknowledging that those changes are difficult for us to predict, by coming face to face with that fact, seeing it for what it is and accepting it, then a great deal of our discomfort vanishes. A great deal of our unease vanishes. A great deal of our unhappiness disappears and is replaced by contentment. It's replaced not just by contentment, but by a willingness to face each moment, no matter what it is. And when we face each moment with contentment and awareness, then we have the most power to bring about positive change in our lives. We have the most power to shape the changing course of events in a way that brings benefit, not just to ourselves, but to everyone that we meet, everyone that we encounter, everyone that we influence. So one of the ways that we do this is through loving kindness meditation. So we started this evening with a period of loving kindness meditation of actively trying to change our mind. Actively trying to point the mind towards gentleness, towards compassion, towards goodwill, towards benevolence. And you can notice a difference. If you try, if you put forth the effort, you can notice the mind does change. But actually, even without trying to shape and direct the mind, if you just pay close attention moment by moment to your experience, you'll notice that everything is changing anyway. The mind is always changing. Moment after moment, the mind feels a little bit different. The mind is perceiving something different. It's experiencing something different. This is just the way things are. Paying attention to your body, paying close attention to our body, which we normally think of as something stable and predictable and reliable. Well, actually, the body is constantly changing as well. All the sensations of the body are changing moment by moment, always shifting, altering, coming and going, appearing and vanishing. That's just the way things are. Whether we want it to be that way or want it to be a different way doesn't really matter, because this is just the way things are. Everything is constantly changing. Nothing is permanent, nothing is stable, nothing is solid. The only thing that we can predictably expect is that things will change. Of course, as soon as we start wanting things to change, then perversely, that's usually when change slows down. But then that's also recognizing that one of the aspects of unpredictability is that we don't know how quickly or how dramatically things will change. We don't know how soon things will change. And this willingness to look directly at the constant change in our lives without flinching, without turning away, without pretending otherwise, this willingness gives us the courage to face uncertainty, gives us the willingness to face the constant shift and flow in our life. So these days, we're all experiencing a lot of uncertainty. What we're facing today is quite a bit different from what we were facing a few months ago. And we don't know what the world is going to be like 3 months from now. We don't know what the world is going to be like 3 days from now, for that matter. We don't even know what it's going to be like 3 minutes from now. And the truth is, it's always been like this. It's just in the past we were often able to fool ourselves into thinking that there was certainty, into thinking that there was reliability, into thinking that there was predictability. And then when things changed in an unexpected way, we got upset, we got confused, we got disturbed. So, by cultivating the awareness of impermanence, the awareness of constant change, we can vaccinate the mind against that discomfort of change. We can inoculate the mind against the disturbance and agitation that comes when things change unpredictably. So we recognize that this is the nature of things. Our body is not what it was 10 years ago. Our mind is not what it was even 10 seconds ago, let alone 10 years ago. Our external conditions are not what they were 10 years ago. In fact, they're not even what they were 10 seconds ago. So it's acknowledging that this is the way things are, and opening up to the experience of the present moment on its own terms. So not expecting our present moment experience to be any particular way, not wanting it to be any particular way, but just seeing, what is it really? What is this moment? What am I feeling with my body? What am I feeling with my mind? What is the experience of this body mind in this moment? So, starting with this open hearted acceptance. And this is one of the benefits, once again, of doing loving kindness meditation. So, loving kindness meditation at its heart is about wishing well for all living beings. But it's also cultivating an attitude of open hearted acceptance. So, it's open hearted acceptance of all living beings. But it's also open hearted acceptance of this moment just as it is. This moment right here with this body and this mind in this world with these conditions. Because this is inescapable. The one thing you can never escape is the present moment. You can never run away from the present moment. Wherever you go, you're in the present moment. The one thing we can do, though, is we can choose to be friends with the present moment. And we can choose to be friends with the person that we're facing in the present moment. And that doesn't just mean the people around you, it also means you. This person, right at the heart of our experience. Cultivating an open, accepting, tolerant, loving heart for this person having this experience in this moment. So looking at them with those soft, gentle, loving eyes. I see you. I care about you. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. The same soft, gentle, loving eyes that we turn towards our best friend, that we turn towards our loved ones, that we turn towards all the people that we know, all the people that we encounter. We turn those same soft, gentle, loving, accepting eyes towards each moment with this body and mind. Seeing it change moment by moment, accepting each moment just as it is, loving each person in each moment just as they are, wishing well for them without reservation. So we can't predict what's going to happen, but we can choose what we're going to do about it. We can choose how we're going to face it. We can choose the mind that we're going to bring to our constantly changing experiences. We can choose the attitude with which we're going to face the reality of impermanence. the reality of uncertainty. So we can choose a mind that is soft, gentle, loving, accepting, tolerant, peaceful, and kind. And we can bring that forward whenever we like, whenever we wish to. And every moment that we meet in this way is a moment of joy, a moment of goodness, a moment of appreciation, a moment of satisfaction. So it doesn't matter that things are constantly changing, because however things change, we'll meet it with confidence and joy. We'll meet it with the serenity of knowing that whatever comes before us, whatever the world presents to us, we can face it with a smile, with a peaceful mind. So I think at this point I've been talking for long enough. So do we have any questions to be answered? If you would be willing to read the question.
Well, thank you, Bhante. So we have a few friends that wrote on the chat. Some are old friends, like Cam, Lynn, Mike, Kevin, etc. Andre, Bobby. They all say hello. And we also have some new friends. So Edai, or Eddie, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, asks, I'm new to meditation. It has been very hard to meditate, I assume, during these times. How do I become better at meditating?
So first off, it's good to acknowledge that meditation is very difficult. In fact, this is possibly the most difficult thing that you can do with your life. I think it's easier to become an Olympic champion than to attain enlightenment. So just acknowledging that this is in fact a very difficult thing to train the mind. Um, and the reason I say that is so that you won't be discouraged. If you're finding it difficult, well, everybody finds it difficult. Nobody thinks that meditation is easy unless they've been practicing for a very long time. So, yeah, it's difficult. It's hard. In the beginning, if you can have a 1% success rate, that's amazing. Keep it up. 1% is awesome. It's really, really good. If you can do the meditation practice for 1% of the meditation time, you're doing great. Don't worry about the other 99%. Just keep practicing. Focus on that 1% of the time that things are going all right. Focus on that 1% of the time when the meditation practice seems to be flowing smoothly. Even if it's just a few isolated seconds here and there throughout the meditation period, still, every moment that you put your mind on the meditation method is a moment when you are successful with your meditation practice. And as you continue, those moments will become more frequent, they'll become longer, they'll become more intense. And in time, that will start to become the dominant character of your meditation. But that's not going to be anytime soon. Just being realistic, being honest, it takes years. It takes years before you will get to a point where the majority of a period of meditation is undistracted. Doesn't happen quickly or easily. So be gentle with yourself. Be forgiving with yourself. Give yourself time. Give yourself space. So you ask what the best way to get better with your meditation practice is? The best way is to keep doing it. Just keep trying, keep doing it over and over and over again. And every time you catch yourself drifting off or spacing out or thinking about other things, immediately forgive yourself and put your mind back on the meditation. There's no sense in being harsh or critical towards yourself because you're trying to do something that's extremely difficult to do. So, of course, you're going to fall down over and over and over again. So, forgive yourself and get back up, get back on track. Then you'll fall down again. Forgive yourself, get up, get back on track. Just do this over and over and over again. And slowly, gradually, you'll get better. Give it time. Next question.
Thank you. Cam is asking, Bhante, thank you very much. First of all, can you speak more about practices on letting go of attachment in connection with impermanence?
Yeah. So, one important thing is first to acknowledge that you have attachment to something. So, just to see what is it that you're not willing to allow to change? What is it that you want to stay the same? What is it that you want to be predictable and reliable? First, acknowledge that to yourself and acknowledge that it's understandable. It's understandable that you have this wish. Then turn your attention towards that object or that experience or that thing or whatever it is that you want to be permanent and reliable and predictable. And notice that it's not permanent. It's changing. It's of the nature to change. It has come into being, and at some point it will cease to be. That's its nature. So if we can face that, then our attachment will start to melt away. And as our attachment melts away, what we find in its place is peace and joy. But first, we have to be willing to face that whatever it is we're trying to hold on to cannot be held on to. And if we're willing to face that, then we can let go of our attachment. It's not the impermanence of the object that's painful. It's our attachment to the object that's painful. That's what we need to recognize. Then letting go gets much easier. Okay. Next question.
Michael asks, how should one skillfully go about planning one's long term life goals with impermanence in mind? Should one totally let go and not plan out life and career goals?
It's fine to make plans. In fact, plans are often very helpful. But make your plans with a light heart. Kind of like it's a joke that you're telling yourself. It's like, yes, these are my plans, but who knows if it's actually going to happen. But I'm making these plans. So make your plans with that kind of lighthearted attitude of like, this is something which might happen. It might go this way, but maybe not. So as you're making your plans, remind yourself of this. It's still good to make plans. There's nothing wrong with making plans. In fact, as I mentioned before, plans can be quite helpful. But it's important to recognize that the plans are ultimately a fictional story that we're telling ourselves. A fictional story which may come partially true at some point, but maybe not. So as long as we remind ourselves that our plans are just fiction, that they're just this fun game that we play, then there's actually no problem. If things go according to plan, that's cool. If things don't go according to plan, well, that's no problem because we knew from the beginning that the stories that we made up were just stories. That the plans we made were never real. They were always just imagination, playthings in our mind. So go ahead and make plans, but remember that plans are not real. They're just stories we tell ourselves. Okay? Next question.
And Sarah is asking, is it to maintain romantic relationships while practicing non attachment and impermanence?
Well, that's a little more challenging um, because when one is in a romantic relationship with another person, odds are pretty good that you have a fair amount of attachment to that person. Um, so you do need to remind yourself that the relationship is impermanent. It can change at any time. In fact, it's always changing. Uh, it's of the nature to end. So at some point, it's going to end like everything else. Maybe not for a long time, or maybe very soon. We don't know. The person that you're in a relationship with is also changing. So the person that you started the relationship with doesn't exist anymore. You're in a relationship with somebody else, someone who maybe closely resembles the person you started the relationship with, but it's not quite the same person. They've changed, and they will continue changing. And they may change so dramatically that you don't even recognize them anymore. And you are changing. You are not the same person you were at the start of the relationship either. And you will also keep changing until someday maybe your partner doesn't recognize you anymore. So this is part of the nature of relationship, is that we can actually see impermanence very sharply and clearly. And the more attached we are to a particular version of our partner, the more we will suffer as time goes by. But if we're open to loving whoever is in front of us, if we're open to loving the person, no matter how they change or what happens, then things can go pretty smoothly. And the relationship can last a long time, and it can bring great benefit to both of you, or however many of you there happen to be. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to practice non attachment within romantic relationships. But the truth is, it's not easy to practice non attachment with any relationship or with any situation. But the more we develop non attachment, the happier we are. The more willing we are to face this moment without clinging to stories of the past, then the more happy we'll be. The more content we'll be, the freer we'll feel. Okay, next question.
Kevin asks, thank you, Bhante. I think I get that deep penetration of the truth of impermanence gives way to peace and happiness. But I sometimes stray to nihilism, nothing matters. What can one do there?
Well, first off, remind yourself that you are having an experience right now, and it certainly feels real. And the people around you are also having experiences that feel pretty real as well. So maybe it's true that ultimately everything is changing. Maybe it's true that everything is insubstantial. But for most of us, it sure doesn't feel insubstantial. It feels pretty solid. It feels pretty real. So the choices that we make do matter because they create experiences that feel solid, that feel real. So we want to be careful that we make choices which bring about good experiences, positive experiences, not ones that cause harm. Okay, next question.
John is asking, hi, Bhante, thank you. Aren't some forms of attachment more wholesome and healthy than others? How do you distinguish among different attachments?
Yeah, well, briefly speaking, if an attachment helps you to be a more moral, kind, generous, and content person, then that's a good kind of attachment. So you always look at the results. Because, yeah, it's true. You can be attached to harmful things, or you can be attached to helpful things. So look at the results. So the Buddha said that we should always try not to cause harm to any living being, and we should always try to bring benefit to living beings, both ourselves and others. So that's the basic test for how to determine whether something is good or bad, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome. Does this bring harm to myself or others? Or does it bring benefit to myself and others? So it's the same with attachments. Does this attachment bring benefit to myself and others? Or does it bring harm to myself and others? That's how you know. Okay, next question.
Jay asks, how do you differentiate love from attachment?
Well, so love is a very complex word, which means many different things to many different people, and also means many different things in different situations. So in a Buddhist context, when we talk about love, we're usually talking about metta, talking about loving kindness. We're talking about this simple, unconditional wish for happiness, either for yourself or for another person or for all beings. It's this very simple, pure wish. May they be happy. No conditions, no limitations, no requirements. Not may they be happy as long as they do what I want them to. Not may they be happy as long as their hair is the right length. Not may they be happy as long as they make good pasta. No conditions. Just may they be happy no matter what. Even if they act in a way that means you have to live on the other side of the earth, still, may they be happy no matter what. So, attachment is when you have a requirement, there's a condition. That's the difference. Okay, next question.
So, Bobby has a question that is a little bit off topic, but he was curious to know a little bit about our trip to Thailand, specifically your experience at Ajahn Gamha's place and Ajahn Suchart's place,
Hmm.
because he's planning on ordaining. Well, he has the aspiration to ordain there.
Do we have some on-topic questions first, and then we'll come back to that one?
No, that's the. Oh, yes, we do have one on topic that Marielle. Hello, Marielle. She's watching from Santo Domingo.
Great.
She says, Bhante, aren't some relationships, including romantic ones, necessary for us in order to heal karmic knots that we wouldn't see if we are by ourselves? In a way, seeing relationships are mirrors.
Yes. So that's one of the reasons why monastics live in community most of the time. Not all the time. Sometimes we live by ourselves. But we usually spend much of our monastic life living with others, living in community with others, in close proximity with other people. Because it's true, other people are a mirror through which we can see ourselves. They're a reflection of ourselves. And the more wholesome, pure, and wise our companions are, the better we can see ourselves through them. And the more useful their reflection of us will be. So we do want to be careful here that when we're choosing our companions, that we choose people who are wholesome, who are spiritually developed, people who have a great deal of wisdom, compassion, and serenity. Because those are the people which will help guide us along our own spiritual path. They'll give us encouragement and support on our own spiritual path. On the other hand, if we choose to be in relationships with people who are not spiritually developed, or even worse, people who are not interested in becoming spiritually developed, then that may pull us down. It may pull us away from the path. And we may find ourselves making worse and worse choices. We may find our view of ourselves getting more and more distorted rather than more and more clear. So often we choose to get into a relationship just out of desire and delusion. And then we wind up in a situation which just keeps dragging us farther down. So that's not so useful. In fact, that's very counterproductive. That doesn't clear up our karmic knots, that just creates more. So we do need to be careful with relationships because they're very powerful. And very often that power harms us. Not always. Sometimes a relationship can bring us a tremendous amount of benefit and development. But often, if we approach relationships in a reckless way, without considering our spiritual growth, then that relationship will just worsen our problems. It will just fuel our defilements and delusions and make things worse. So we need to be very careful. So in monastic life, we choose to be in celibate relationships with groups of other monastics, and that allows us to cultivate wholesome mind states together. And it allows us to reflect each other, to point out each other's flaws and faults, but also to point out each other's perfections, to point out each other's beautiful qualities, to point out each other's successes, and to help nurture each other's good qualities. So those are the kinds of people that you want to be in relationship with, the kinds of people who nurture your good qualities and gently point out your flaws so you can correct them. Okay? So next question. We can go back to Bobby if
Yeah,
that's
we
what's-
only have Bobby's question left.
Okay. Um, yeah, so if you want to be a monastic, that's great. That's a very admirable aspiration. Um, and it depends upon the kind of monastic that you want to be. So Thailand is a very complicated place, and like every place in the world, it has both pros and cons, has both advantages and disadvantages. And being a monk there has both advantages and disadvantages. So what I would actually recommend is wherever you are, wherever you're living, first go to visit the monasteries that are near you. First go to visit the monasteries that are in your own country and see what they're like. Spend time with monastics who are from your same culture, who speak your same language, and see what it's like. And also go and visit other places and see what they're like. But don't overlook the options that are close by both in location and in culture, because that helps a lot. It's difficult enough to understand the Dhamma without also needing to filter it through the lens of another culture and another language. The Dhamma is hard enough to understand as it is. So don't make it harder than it has to be. Okay? Any last questions?
I think that's it for now. Well, thank you so much, Bhante, and thank you all for tuning tonight here. We will be live streaming again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. New York City time. We will be doing a sutta study with Bhante, and then once again tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m., where there will be similarly to tonight, metta meditation first, followed by talk and Q&A. Same thing will be happening on Friday, and on Saturday we'll have an extra talk in the afternoon, and on Sunday a very special day. So we invite you to come virtually on retreat with us. So we'll have an intensive Vipassana day long here at Empty Cloud Monastery. So we will be giving talks and different meditation instructions throughout the day. And so there will be opportunities to pretty much like be on retreat together, far away, but so close. And the following weekend, actually, we'll be doing both days. If there is any kind of feedback, anything that you would like to see, please send us an email at info@buddhistinsights.com, so we can see them and try and work out something for the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. And stay strong, keep strong with your practice as well. And yeah, thank you so much. We also have a special guest here, another Bhante, who I'll show you briefly, who will also be leading meditation and sharing Dharma on Friday evening. And Bhante is actually also Mexican, so he also speaks Dharma in Espanol. So if there are any requests of Dharma in Espanol, let us know and we might be able to make it happen. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you soon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.